Sherry Goodwin, owner of Jagger 2, and today I'll be responding to questions raised by you, and thank you so much for the questions. And they are, how do I generate consistent cash flow in my business, and what business model do I use to continue to generate consistent cash flow? As you know, it can be very difficult to get that one client. And what we're going to do today is make sure that you're clear on how to capture that client and make sure you have a very clear sales pipeline and business model that's most appropriate for you. And really this centers all around the question, how do I best serve my clients? What do my clients want from me? How can they access me? And how can I deliver service to this specific market in the way that resonates with them best? So I have a short PowerPoint presentation and just a few slides that we're going to go through today to make sure that we're all comfortable with the process, and it addresses most of these questions, gives you some graphics so you can kind of it'll illustrate some of these key points. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the fastest way to raise consistent cash is to develop a lead generating process to fill your prospect pipeline. And what this is a system that you will be following every single week religiously to make sure that you have prospects for follow-up. If you do not do this, you'll find that your business will start to dry up. And it's very difficult to reignite your business once it starts to dry up than to stimulate it and then maintain it. So it's a really important part of the process. You need to follow up with these folks regularly and guide them through your sales process so they know if they want to buy from you, and if they do want to buy from you, how to buy from you, and to buy from you. So to do that, you need to use an appropriate business model. So let's talk for a minute about lead generation. Sales is really a numbers game, and I didn't understand that in the beginning when I started my first company. I thought, well, I've got a pretty good service, I have some people that are interested, people were already starting to buy, what's the big deal? I'll just keep doing that and keep putting that out there and I'll get more clients. And although that's true, there is a system that you need to follow in order to grow your business, and we'll talk about that. So what you need to do is call on only those folks that can most benefit from your service. These are folks in your target market. You need to be really clear on who you're serving. And I've written some articles on that. They're on the website, so you can check that out at your leisure if you'd like. And then you have to have a system to make sure that you are generating leads. And what I mean by that is every week you should have a number of folks that you want to call on. New folks, new prospects, new possibilities. And then you can break that out into every day you have maybe 10 calls you make or 3 calls you make, or however that works best for you. But you need to have that plan and you need to stick to it every single week. And if you do that, you'll gain momentum in your business and you'll start to see very quick results. So let's talk again for a minute about this sales pipeline. And there's a graphic that I prepared for you guys that walks you through this lead generation process. So at the top are your prospects. This is where you're starting to generate leads. And the leads need to be, as I mentioned, in your target market. So you don't want to be putting it out to everyone, putting your message out to everyone. You really want to focus your message so that the folks that most need you or want you can hear you. Then you need to qualify the lead and make sure that these people really are ready to buy. They're ready to buy, or what do they need from you to be able to be ready to buy? Lead qualification and needs assessment are a little bit similar. Lead qualification is kind of a screening process. And then the needs assessment is what specific need will you be filling for your prospect? What specific problem are they dealing with, or pain are they having, or what specific pleasure are they trying to accomplish? If it's a travel type thing or some luxury item, it could be a pleasure. It's not always a pain that we're dealing with. It could be that you're providing amazing joy, and that's pretty exciting. And then the next part of the sales pipeline is your proposal. And this is really, proposal is kind of a formal word. This is where you ask for the sale. And so you need to be asking for the sale. This is part of the process of your entire sales process. And then hopefully you make a sale. But as you can see, your sales pipeline, it starts out with a lot of people at the top, and as you funnel down, you only get a couple clients. The other piece of this graphic that's really important to note is this time to convert. And what I mean by that is how long does it take to get someone from being just a prospect as a lead to actually buying from you. And that will be different for every single person, but you should have a general idea of how long that time frame is and what you need to be doing actively in order to convert these prospects in in as fast a time as possible that's comfortable for them. Because when you do that, your cash flow starts to get higher and higher. But you have to do it in a way that's comfortable for them. So we just have to pay attention to that. So lead generation, what do we mean by that? How do you generate these leads? Let's look at this next slide. There are active ways to generate leads and passive ways to generate leads. And you should be doing these active things every week, as I mentioned. They're part of your lead generation strategy. So it could be that you have an email to your mail list. You should be developing a mail list, a mailing list of your members, of your community, of your potential prospects. You should always be inviting them to join a mailing list of some sort so that you have that list to be able to communicate with. Referrals, you can call folks that you've worked with in the past and see if they know other people that might need your service or product. Strategic partners, these are other people who are serving the same client base. You can talk to them and see about maybe running a special together, some type of special deal, or a workshop together, or somehow partnering so that you're adding more value together to the same target market, and you're getting seen in front of other people that are currently outside of your market base, your community. Certainly networking meetings, networking groups, you can belong to those. You can have one-on-one meetings, so you might say, you know, I'd really like to work with that person, or I think that person might be a really great client for me. You call a coffee meeting, something just very brief, so it doesn't take up a huge amount of time, but it gives you face time in front of a person that's a very hot prospect, potentially, or maybe they know other people as well. Free consultations are a wonderful way to generate leads. Public speaking is huge. If you like public speaking, if you enjoy that, you can get in front of certain groups, and so they start to see you as an expert and they'll start to come to you. This is all about drawing people to you, and it's such an important part of your overall marketing strategy and filling that sales pipeline. You can have open houses so folks can get to know you. You can go to conferences, you can speak at conferences, you can go to trade shows, go to meetings. Anywhere you go, you can generate leads. Just keep your eyes open for possibilities there. So that's your active process. That takes up a lot of time, and you want to make sure you balance that with passive lead generation. And this would be things like, at a minimum, your web presence. So you need to have a website with SEO, stands for search engine optimization, so people will find you on keyword search. So if you have somebody helping you with the website, make sure that you get this SEO optimization done as well. Make sure you have a Facebook page. I think most folks do that. And also take advantage of Facebook groups, or start your own Facebook group, because that's kind of another filter in your sales process. That's geared all towards your target market, like-minded folks. It's a really great way to advertise without really advertising, letting folks hear you, see you, know how you think. Same thing applies for Twitter and LinkedIn. And Twitter is just massively powerful, and you can have a Twitter account and play with that and put the word out. Think about how you can add value each time. So you're not always asking for a sale or reminding people about sales stuff. You're also putting tips out there, so you're being seen as a credible expert. LinkedIn is the same thing. It's more of a professional or social media forum, where you can actually develop your own LinkedIn group. I've done this, and invite people to come, and it can all be topic based, and you can have some kind of discussion about that topic, or special interest, and then they get to know you in that capacity. YouTube videos are great. Blogging is great, making sure that your blog is linked with your website, and so folks that are looking on a Google search under keywords, they will see your blog and go to your site. And then, of course, any articles that you write, or newspaper ads, or if you've been interviewed, same thing with radio, all of that is really important. It can work for you in the background, because you really only have to have your website up there fully optimized, and then it starts generating leads for you. So you have to have kind of a compelling offer for folks to join your mail list from your website. You should have something like that. It should be free as well. So you're always inviting people to join your mailing list, and that becomes a lead generation for follow-up. Pretty exciting. So there's lots of activities. You don't have to do all of them. Just pick a few that work for you and make sure you do them regularly. Make a commitment to do that. So let's talk a little bit about business models. There's really two different kinds of, in general, there's two different kinds of business models. You're either a high volume producer with a low margin, and these would be folks like Walmart, large government contractors. A lot of them only have a fee of about 8% or so. And that's not a huge margin to be operating under, but they have $25 million contracts or $200 million contracts. So they're generating a lot of money at that fee rate. Or you could be more of a boutique, provide a boutique product or service. This is where it's low volume. You don't produce that many, but it's a little expensive. It's more on the pricey side. So this would be, at the extreme, it would be a boutique like Tiffany's. It would also be something like private schools. They have a pretty high admission rate, but they don't have that many students in general. That's just something to think about. And the other thing is, you don't necessarily have to be one or the other. It is good to have a brand that is consistent, but you can also blend a little bit and have a mix of both. You just have to think about what best serves your clients.